We live.
Hey y'all, hey everybody.
Hey.
What's going on? Whiskey Blue ain't got no mask on tonight. What's up with that? Uh-oh, wait a minute. I said something. I said something.
You spoke too fast.
I'm aware the one that King Termel and King Joseph gave to me.
Well, I tell you.
I like this one.
Oh, you like that one?
I sure do.
Well,
and I wear it tonight in honor of the Kings, the TheMcRaeKingz.
Since you wearing yours, I'm gonna put on mine.
Oh, work it out, son. Work it out. You better work. I love the gold. It looks good against your brown skin. I know I love your brown skin.
Hey, Lawrence.
Oh,
Hey,
Lord,
Melissa.
Huh?
I was just saying hello to the people in the chat.
Oh, hey, people in the chat, y'all. I can't see without my glasses. So,
hi, Lawrence.
Now, let me clarify this, y'all. If you notice that my eyes are a little swollen, my husband did not punch me in it.
No, I didn't punch him in the face this time. I didn't punch him in the face this time.
I still want to see the video.
Joseph, what is that? Are you having an allergic reaction to something? What is that?
I wake up like this every morning now. I don't know.
I know. For the past several days, you've been waking up like that.
And normally it go down by now, but it stayed this way all day.
I haven't noticed that you fighting in your sleep or something.
No. And this is the side of my face that I sleep on.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know.
Well, oh well. But good evening, everybody. Hey, everybody in the chat. I'm just gonna say hey to everybody in the chat because I got my mask on. I can't see. I really can't see. You know, I can't see nothing without my glasses. I can't see not a doggone thing without my glasses. So, what you drinking tonight? Whiskey.
You know, to be honest with y'all, I was drinking. Y'all gonna laugh. I was drinking a glass of milk to eat with a strawberry jelly and peanut butter sandwich.
Oh Lord!
I had a taste about peanut butter and jelly sandwich with some cold ice milk.
Yes, I get those cravings too, especially for the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right? You just have to have them sometimes. It's almost like I'm a little hoarse, so because I've been talking, but it's almost like you have this craving sometimes for more, and then sometimes you don't even have a craving for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes I have a craving for the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you know, peanut butter and jelly is, for those of you that have diabetes, is a good way to if you should ever become hyperglycemic and your sugar is low, make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or you could just make yourself a peanut butter sandwich, and that will bring your sugar up. The peanut butter has enough sugar in it that it will bring your sugar up. And also milk. You know, I never knew that milk is something that you can drink whenever your sugar is low, and it will bring your sugar up. I just recently found that out about a year ago. No, actually, it was about 3 years ago. I was at church, and I'm sitting in church, and I passed out. And my mother wasn't there. My mother's a nurse, but there was another lady, one of the deaconess that was there. She gave me milk, and you know, she told me, she said, whenever your blood sugar is low, you can drink milk as well. I never knew that. Nobody ever told me that. And I mean, I've had diabetes education classes and the whole night, and I've never heard that before.
Well, may I ask a question?
What's that?
When you eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, what kind of peanut butter and what kind of jelly? Jif, Skippy, Welch's grape? What kind? What flavor? Jelly and what brand?
You know what? It really doesn't make a difference to me. It's whatever type of peanut butter we have. Me and Joseph, we use Peter Pan. We use Skippy. I like creamy peanut butter. I don't like crunchy. And I always use grape jelly.
And see, for me, I like Jiffy. Jif.
Okay.
That's the peanut butter I like, right? That's what I like. But when I go to get ketchup, I only get Heinz.
Yeah, I only eat Heinz ketchup.
Yeah, Joseph is like that too. He won't eat no other ketchup or Heinz. If you put any other kind of ketchup in front of him, he's like, I'm not sure. I'm not having that. I'm not having that. But you know, condiments. I'm really not a big condiment person anyway, you know, because I don't believe in drowning your food. But
you say condiments or condiments. What you say?
I said condiments.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I'm not a big condiment person. Like, you know, I'm not one of those people that require that you have this sauce on your food and stuff like that, because I don't like to drown my food. It's against it's against the food laws. It's the laws of food. You ain't supposed to drown your food in salad dressing and ketchup and can on and things like that.
Yes, you are.
I'm extra like that. I'm extra. I have to have extra ketchup when I go to McDonald's, extra Mac sauce on my Big Macs. I have to have extra. I'm a person.
Oh, no, I'm not. That's not me. I can go without that. Like, I can eat my fries without ketchup. I can eat, you know, I eat my hamburger, and Joseph be laughing at me. He be laughing at me, and he be picking at me because I'll get a burger and I'll put a drop of ketchup on it, and he's like, Tramel, put some ketchup on your food. And I'm like, that's enough for me.
Watch this. For me, I used to love ketchup and mustard on my burgers. Now when I make a burger with ground beef, I put mayonnaise, extra mayonnaise, and cheese, and no ketchup or mustard. And and my burgers have got to be medium rare. I like
my burgers medium rare, but I don't do mayonnaise. I do not do mayonnaise at all. Mayonnaise is a no-no.
Wow. Are you allergic to it or just don't like it?
I have an allergic reaction to it if I have too much of it. I can't have too much of it. Like, if I have too much of it, it'll make me itch. It'll blow my lips up, things like that. So I don't really mess with mayonnaise that much. Joseph, on the other hand, he tells me when we go to, like, we'll go to the store and we'll get a sandwich. He says it has to be enough mayonnaise that when he bites into his sandwich, the mayonnaise is running down his mouth. And I'm like, oh, no, just that's too much.
Well, guess what? Look down in the chat room. Melissa said, oh yeah, yo, do sauce it up for me, my son too.
Yeah, Joseph and Melissa, they be on that on all that mess.
Sauce mine up too. I like it with a.
That's because me and Melissa are here with each other.
Do you ever get the feeling that when you sauce it up, you like to feel it drool down your face, so you can just lick it up off your own face?
Yeah, no. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. That's
because you are King Tramel.
Yes, no, but I don't be putting a whole bunch of stuff on my food like that. You got to enjoy it.
Right.
Tramel,
yeah.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking some Sutter Home sweet red wine. I have a couple of pineapples in here, you know, and I said, Joseph, I said this week, well, let me just say this. Thank you to the person that sent me, this is one of our subscribers.
Well, you might as well put them both up there.
I don't want to mention their names, but they sent Joseph and I a big bottle of wine each, right? And they asked what we like. They called us and asked what we like. And we're at, you know, we was cooking dinner that night.
You notice my
and all of a sudden somebody came to the door and they were like, I have a delivery for the TheMcRaeKingz. I said, okay. So, you know, I had to sign and I signed and stuff like that. I said, well, what is this? And it was 2 big bottles of wine. I thought it was so special.
A bag of M&Ms because they pay attention that I eat my M&Ms.
Yeah, Joseph like M&Ms. But you know, Joseph, chocolate and wine goes great together.
Well, Well, do y'all have a wine chest where y'all can stack your bottles of wine in like a wine bar or something?
Oh no, we ain't got that. We ain't bougie like that right now. Whiskey. We ain't bougie like that. We don't have our own place.
But guess what? I have one, but no wine on it.
Lord,
I really don't drink it like that. I just like the bar.
You know what? I said that when we move and get our own place, I am going to get me a wine refrigerator, and I'm going to start, buying wine because I love wine. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a drinker of hard liquor anymore. When I got diagnosed with diabetes, I really stopped drinking hard liquor. But before that, child, I used to drink Jack Daniel's straight with Coke on the side, twist of lemon. Everywhere I went, either that, Hennessy, or cognac. I mean, Remy Martin. I'm not a big drinker now. And the only thing that I really like or enjoy is wine. I love to enjoy a glass of wine. And, wine is good for your heart, they say. So they say you should have a glass of wine every day because it's good for your heart. It's good for your blood.
Tristan.
Joseph, what kind of wine are you drinking?
I'm drinking Sir Home Pink Moscato.
Okay. Yeah.
With some pineapples in mine as well.
I opened up Joseph wine, Melissa. I had opened up his wine, and
because I can't never have nothing for myself. I can't never have nothing for myself. He always gotta dig in it, open it, eat it, something. Like, at least could I crack it open first? I don't mind sharing, but damn, could I crack it open first?
It's ours. I mean, it's
not ours. It
is. You're gonna have a glass of mine.
No, the person that sent it asked me what kind did I want.
Right.
And what kind did you want? That didn't mean that you were supposed to crack my wine open before I got to it and drink the first glass. No, it don't work that way.
Joseph. Whatever. You're gonna have a glass of mine, ain't you?
I never said you couldn't have any.
Just answer the question. Are you
didn't give nobody a chance to crack yours open because as soon as you got it, you cracked it open and drank
it. Are you going to have a glass of my wine?
Because you think as soon as somebody buys something and put it in the house, it's supposed to be eaten, opened, or tainted.
Yes,
right. There. You can't never save something for somebody.
Happy husband, happy life.
If I'm not happy, you ain't happy. How about that?
Use it.
I ain't happy. You ain't happy. How about that?
I know that. I know you ain't happy. I'm not happy. You ain't happy. We just gonna have to. We're gonna have to have a conversation, Joseph. But you're gonna have a glass of my wine. You can have. You know what? Joseph is so stingy. He's so mean. Sometimes he be acting mean and surly.
All y'all just heard me say that I don't have a problem with him having some of my wine. What I said was, why did he have to open it before I did when it was for me? That's what I said. There is no because.
Because.
No, there is no because. Just like you had your juice upstairs in the room, and you're going to come down here and drink the rest of mine. Knowing I don't want that little diabetic shit you was drinking. Yeah.
I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let that one go.
Yes, leave it alone.
I'm going to let that one go.
Anyway. Question. Are you sure, King Jamel, you did not punch King Joe?
He gonna make me punch him in the face.
Let me tell you one motherfucking thing. If he would have punched me in my eye, he would be in the hospital right down them damn
stairs and punch him in his eye. He gonna have not only a bag, but it's gonna be a dark circle, a nice big donut right up around your eye.
I love you guys. Y'all are too funny. Y'all just bright. You light up my life.
Let me tell you something.
Give me joy.
The one thing that I enjoy about my marriage is that we fight. With me and Joseph will be fighting with each other verbally, but then the next minute we'll be loving on each other, and we'll be, we talk nice to each other. Joseph is always nice to me. He's very nice to me. Yes. But sometimes he can be mean, and I call him out on it. He'd be like, Tramel, don't, because he's like, Tramel, you always calling me mean, but you know I don't be being mean. You just trying to turn it around on me to make it seem like why is it every single time that I say something I'm being mean, but when you say something mean, it's not being mean. And I'm like, because I said so.
Let me ask y'all one more question. Do I need to trade seats and get in the middle of y'all tonight?
No.
Okay.
Cause he all the way downstairs.
Okay.
If y'all see me do this, that means I'm going downstairs to check his ass.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But y'all see, and then y'all see, he don't have no. Y'all see that expression? He don't have no expression on his face and nothing whatsoever. Y'all see it? Y'all see it?
Wow.
Love you, boo.
Mm.
I love you.
Mm.
I love you.
You should.
And how far is he away from you downstairs?
Far enough for me not to walk down there at all because I don't feel like it.
Okay, I was saying, was you able to run down, get a kiss real quick, make up, and come on back?
Oh, I can listen. I can run down one flight of steps, and if I had something to throw at him, I can throw it at him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's enough space for me to throw something his way. But then, of course, I don't want to agitate because Uncle Fred to come out the room and be like, "Well, what is going on?" Uncle Fred be like, "Well, what is going on?" Hold on. He'd be like, hold on. What's going on? You go over there and you go over there. Tremel, be quiet. Because he can't nobody get a word in edgewise when I'm mad. So
they don't get a word in edgewise when you ain't mad.
Whatever, Joseph. Whatever.
Touche.
Okay, are we gonna have that conversation tonight about you being long-winded? Are we gonna have that conversation?
No.
Okay.
You just
because you or Whiskey Blue don't want that one. Y'all don't want to have that conversation.
Mom's the word.
Y'all better leave me the hell alone.
Mom's the word. Mom's the word.
Y'all better leave me alone. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I made the most amazing dinner again. Of course, once again, me, His Majesty, Chef His Majesty made the most amazing dinner. I fried some chicken. I made some mashed potatoes, some candy yams, some macaroni salad. Just a matter of fact, take that macaroni. Could you do me a favor? Take that macaroni out of the freezer. Is it still in the freezer?
I don't know what you did with it.
Take it out the freezer for me, please. Thank you. Y'all, because when I make my macaroni salad, what I do is because the macaroni is hot, I take it and I put it in the bowl and then I put it in the freezer so it can cool, so it can chill. And then I can add my ingredients to it. So we have mashed potatoes with broccoli and macaroni salad and fried chicken tonight. That's Sunday's dinner, which is something that we don't normally do. We normally don't have like fried chicken and stuff like that on Sundays. We usually have something of substance, something that can stick to the ribs, like a nice stew or some oxtails or some beef shank or something like that. But we didn't cook that tonight. We decided that we would go a different route. And of course, we have all these sweet potatoes in the house. So I decided to make some sweet potatoes.
Well, I don't know where he disappeared to.
Joseph don't like sweet potatoes. So I made the sweet potatoes not sweet potatoes. Yeah, I made the sweet potatoes for myself. I'm really trying. I'm going to try to get Joseph to taste some sweet potatoes tonight. And he might, because he likes sweet things, so he might taste it. Joseph, please.
I married your sour ass.
Are you feeling some type? I'm getting the feeling that you're feeling some type of way about the wine situation.
No.
Oh, okay, because that was a couple of days ago. We need to get over that, right? And so have you done the breathing exercises that we discussed?
No.
Okay, you need to do those. You need to do some of those breathing exercises that we discussed, and that way you won't have so much animosity.
But anyway.
And it won't be so much shade. It won't be the shade.
Let's get on with the show. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the Kingz Council featuring Whiskey Blue. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it. We appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yes, shout out to everybody in the chat. I started to say Facebook, but we're not broadcasting on Facebook, so I don't have to tell none of them anything. But anywho, welcome. Sit back, relax, have yourself a little cocktail like I am and Tremel is. Whiskey Blue is drinking milk tonight, but milk does body good, so ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey.
Y'all know how we do on the Kingz Council. We do hot topics or topics that have gone through the news that are hot topics. So tonight we are going to start with, let's start with Mr. Long-Winded himself, Tremel. Mr. His Majesty Tremel McRae.
Well, I just got some breaking news that Gary Busey, the actor, everybody, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people know Gary Busey. He's an actor, was just indicted today for sexual battery and for sexual stalking in Los Angeles, California. It seems that, he met this, he was at this event and he met this young lady who was working at the event, and he actually sexually assaulted her at the event. Okay. And then afterwards, he followed her home and tried to sexually assault her again. Now they're not giving details of what actually happened. I don't know if there was sodomy. I don't know if I should be saying these words. I don't know what type of battery it was. Because battery can be so many different things. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know what type of battery it was. I guess we'll get more details about it, in the upcoming days and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about.
Now that happened in our neck of the woods in New Jersey.
What's that?
That whole thing, because I saw when it first broke, when they first arrested him, and it actually happened in New Jersey.
Did it?
Yes. Well, I don't know where at in New Jersey. I just know it happened in New Jersey.
So I guess they're going to extradite him.
I guess.
Because they've arrested him. He's in jail and he doesn't have a bail right now. So I'm assuming that they're going to extradite him. I didn't pay close enough attention to the story to realize that it happened actually in New Jersey. But I wanted to talk about sexual abuse. There seems to be a lot of that going on these days, especially with these celebrities. A couple of years ago, we had the Me Too movement where there were a lot of celebrities being, people making accusations against celebrities for, assault and other crimes. I'm saying S because, we really ain't supposed to be using that other word. But, it seems that there's a lot of, abuse going on in our country. It seems like the numbers are growing, based on crime reports, especially here in New York City. I was looking at the news this week and took notice to the fact that there was a 83-year-old woman that was attacked, and she was assaulted, which is sad. That is a sad thing. I could never understand, rape. I could never understand it. Why is it that a man or a woman feels as though they have to force themselves upon somebody or take someone's, rape someone? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Can I speak?
Sure.
I'm a very honest and transparent person. And I was bullied in my lifetime, right? And I'm going to make a point. I was bullied. And I'll talk about being bullied, but I also talk about the fact that I was a bullier.
Right.
So I'll bring it to this point. I have had folks borderline violate me but I've also sometimes violated women, the queen, because women are queens.
Right.
And so even when I talk about having 7 wives, I found out I need to have a different word. Because when I say 7 wives, I don't mean actually walking down the aisle with 7 people. The better way to say it is I have some powerful women in my life that they are my queens, and our relationships are not even sexual at all.
Right.
So
Right.
I was younger, and there was this girl that I thought was so sexy. Her name was Rosemary, and I was in grammar school, and I wanted to get with Rosemary. She was a Latino hottie, but she wasn't paying attention to me because I was the fat boy, and the women didn't want the fat boy that day. Now the women that didn't want me then want me now. So I bring it to this. I was so attracted to Rosemary, and she didn't want me. But going home after school, I would literally chase her home and try to grab her butt. And that was borderline violation. But I did it. And I had another girl, and I had to go back and apologize to them because that was the era of I wanted something that I couldn't have. And I think that's what it is. When we can't have something, we want it more than when it's ready available to you. I think that's what people go through. And we got to learn how to be able to control our impulses. And I think that comes with time and growth.
Well, when it comes down to the R word, I think it's because they get off on the fact of the resisting versus her just giving in. Because a lot of times they tell women if they're getting raped, just don't resist. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to leave you alone. Because they want the fight. And if they don't get the fight, then, hey, Miss Southern Girl, if they don't get the fight, then you messed up their whole little, their whole little mental thing. I think when it comes to other things like what you was describing, then I'm in agreement with you that it's something they can't have and they're just trying to get it however they can get it. But when it comes to the R word, I think those people get off on the resistance of what's going on, and because it's just you snatching somebody random is not you actually wanting that person. It's just you want what they have and you want them to fight you because that's the high that they're getting in their head. Versus me running at, stalking or running after some dude that I like just because I want him and I'm going to make him want me. And, it's forbidden fruit, basically. Tramel, nobody could hear you.
You're muted.
I pray for people like that because I've lived my life and there have been times where I have been attracted to certain people and, I've wanted to go a step further with them and it didn't happen. And so I accepted the fact that it would never happen. It's never going to happen and left it alone. I've been able to, I guess it's like you said, it's the impulse. I've never had an impulse like that. And so it's abnormal to me. It's like, why can't you control yourself? You know what I'm saying? So I don't get it. I really don't get it.
You say, and I want y'all to know that with me, if those 2 women that when I was a kid was ever to come back in the midst of my political run, I would totally say I did it. I apologize. What can I do to make it right?
Oh, well, listen, you were a kid. You were a kid, You were a kid. Kids do stuff like that. I mean, growing up, you know how many brothers growing up, grabbed my butt. You know how many brothers I saw grab my sisters behind? So, you know, you were a kid. That was just something. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not really not saying it because I didn't enjoy it. You know, I don't think my sisters enjoyed it when somebody did it to them. I don't think any of my friends, my female friends, enjoyed it when men would grab their behinds and stuff like
when
that.
it happened
But
to me, I
you know,
enjoyed it, honey.
it was an immature thing. It was
Go ahead, Joseph.
It was an immature thing. It was immature. You know, it was just immaturity. You know, you were a kid.
And that's
when they grab my no, go ahead, Kingz. I mean whiskey.
Okay, it's all right. I'll answer them both. But however, here's my thing. I wonder if in the midst of it, was there ever time that someone grabbed your butt that you liked it because you liked them? And the people that did it that you didn't like is why you didn't like it being done to you.
Well, let me just say this. It was a couple of times with some brothers grabbed my behind and I was like, hey.
Well, honey, every time they grab my little butt and they grab my
bring me a chicken
Chiquita, I was
Chiquita.
like, you want some more?
Yeah, I was like, hey, bring me a chicken Chiquita. But, you know, there were times when they, you know, when I didn't like it was when I didn't like it was when they did it in front of a whole bunch of brothers, you know.
Right.
But if I'm walking down, if I was walking through the neighborhood and some brother grabbed my behind, I was like, oh, hey, what's going on? Hey, what you do that for? Do it again.
If one of them did it and there was a bunch of other brothers, did you find out that some of the other brothers then figured, well, if he let them do it, I could do it too?
Always. Let me just say this. I would like, this is so true. And Joseph, maybe you can relate to me on this, but this was so true. I found that when I was young, I would like walk past a whole bunch of brothers and they would call me the F word and stuff like that. And one of them would come out and they would go and grab my butt. The next thing I knew, it was the toughest one in the group would somehow find his way to me by myself and be trying to have me. Have you ever experienced that, Joseph?
Always.
Yeah, it was.
Well, see, with me, it was a little different because with me, I was always the little fat boy.
Me too.
And the boys, for whatever reason, revered me as being a girl. So I would be at the water fountain in school and they would be humping on me and I would just be a child waterlogged because I didn't never want to come away from the water fountain. I let them hump me. They grab my little boy boobs and be like, you should be a girl. I was like, do it again. They were like, they're milking these. Why don't you suck them and find out? Like, you know, I went along with it. But it was like Tremel said, when they did it with another group of boys, I had a decision to make. Because if I allowed that, then I was called the F word. And, you know, it was somebody in the group found it utterly disgusting while the rest of them was already cool with it. So it was like, sometimes I had to be like, stop, don't touch me. And I have to play it off like I didn't want to be bothered. But they already knew because they have already did it when nobody was around and I let them do it. So it was like a double-edged sword. It was like you had to know when to allow it and when not to allow it.
Right.
Because if you allowed it in front of people that didn't know, then it was a problem. But if everybody around was already used to it, it was okay.
Right.
So it was like you had to know what was what. I mean, I didn't get offended by it because it was my outlet to, and I guess because I was molested at a young age, so I kind of already had a sex drive. So it was like my outlet to the feelings that I had because I didn't know. I mean, at a young age, what was I supposed to do? I had these feelings now. And I didn't know how to or what to do about them. So when the boys started messing with me, it was like, okay, because I knew I liked boys. That was never a question in my head. It was now that I've done, quote unquote, had sex, I had sexual desires that I couldn't fulfill as a 10-year-old, but in school, the boys was giving me what I wanted. So it was like I didn't feel bad behind it. I felt good, and it made me. I mean, it made me feel wanted, and it was a release, a sexual release, even though there was no sex involved. It was still a release because somebody was touching me in a sexual
I get what
way.
you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, what Joseph knows, my husband knows that I come from a place of sexual abuse. At the age of 10, I was kidnapped and I was sexually abused by two guys. So, I don't take sexual battery or anything like that. I really don't take it lightly. I think people like that should be under the jail. I don't know if Gary Busey actually committed this crime or not. It's being, right now he's innocent until he's proven guilty. So it's all this stuff is alleged. But if so, he should be punished to the full extent of the law.
Right. And then you had the nerve to follow her home. Like that takes some balls.
Yeah, he followed her home. He did. He followed her home, and that to me is like, oh God, I could imagine like when I was looking at it, that scared me. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that somebody sexually abused you, and then after they did that, you left and you got in your car and you drove home, and they followed you home? Only to try it again.
Right, you get out the car and see the same person.
She must have been horrified.
Right.
Horrified.
Let me ask you this.
Thank you, Miss Southern Girl.
Have y'all ever had a time when you were in school in gym and you didn't come with your gym clothes? My experience would be that the boys, the straight thug boys, would be standing by the little basketball portable movable thing with the pole in the corner, and my hand would be by the pole, and they would brush their penises up against my dick. Up against my hand. Have y'all ever had? And I'm like, why are you so? Or even in the barber shop.
Well, you know what? That's you know what? We need to have that conversation because. And I know the ladies in the comment section are like, "Oh my Lord, have mercy." But we can talk, Joseph, and you know this. We can talk all day about the things that were done to us when we were young, and
that we didn't realize.
They were signs. They were signs. They were signals. Like they were signs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that as a child I didn't have, romances with guys, that were straight, that were, quote unquote, supposed to be the thug boys and stuff like that. They would, the things that they would do, especially when you went to the barbershop. Child, I used to love to go to the barbershop, child. I used to love to go to the barbershop because you knew when you went to the barbershop, the barber, he would press his whole body.
Honey, I put my hands right on the side of the thing like this, honey.
Very that.
Stick my elbows be out like this, and my hands be right on the side of the chair like this. Like, come on, bitch. I know.
Nowadays, there are people that go to barbers that give them haircuts in the nude.
Oh yeah, the new barber. He come to your house
things like that are not allowed these days. There are people that will get in a barber chair like that, and they will get out of the barber chair and they will press charges on you or sue you. That you can't do that anymore.
Wow,
you can't do those things anymore because
no, I think it's
no touching allowed. No touching.
No, I think if a dude got in the chair that they knew was gay, they would do it because they already know a gay boy ain't going to tell.
Can I confess?
Right.
I got a confession. I had a barber that came to my house and was doing my hair and everything like that, and literally took his thing out and offered it to me. In my house. Took his penis out of his pants, and he was supposed to be straight, and said, so and so used to take care of it. So are you the same way? Because if so, you can do the same thing. And we literally it did that kind of stuff for years.
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
So people really, there are a lot of barbers out there that are a lot more DL and open.
Oh yeah.
More DL than open.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, like I said, we can have this conversation all day.
Right, because we haven't been to jail.
You know, the little signs and the little signals that men give us when we're out and about, when we're going to doing things like going to the barber shop, or you know, when we're in a restaurant. There are so many things. I mean, we can tell you about, you know, ladies, did y'all know was a bathroom etiquette? There's a bathroom etiquette. When men go to the bathroom, if you go into the bathroom and there's a line of urinals, you're supposed to be a urinal apart. But then there are some guys that will come and they will stand right next to you and they will use the urinal right next to you.
I had a man bold enough to ask me
just to show you they you know.
Let me tell you something. And that you know where I'm pierced. So you know you got to look pretty damn hard to see that I'm pierced.
Right, right.
I had a man ask me in the urinal one time because he stood right next to me and he didn't make no qualms that he was trying to see. He was like, "Did that hurt?" I was like, "Bitch, you looking real hard to see this little bar on the other side of the meat."
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you why, Joseph, because there are some men that are just so comfortable with their bodies. It does for some men it's not even about sex.
Now, see, let me tell you something. There's a lot of times the old hoe in me didn't mind half of that. What I did mind, like if what would have happened, what Whiskey Blue said happened to him, if he would have did that to me, I would have been offended. Because first of all, you don't even know. Don't treat me like a hoe.
Right.
That I've always been big on that. You know, I could be a hoe, but don't treat me like a hoe.
Right, right.
And once a man treated me like a hoe, all bets was off.
Yeah.
Well, because even I could have wanted it just as bad as he wanted it, but I would have never did it because it was like, you treat me like a hoe and you don't even know me. This is the first time you come in here cutting my hair and you just pulling out your dick. Child,
well, I've always been
time for that.
I've always been prudish when it came to men anyway. So you wasn't gonna do that to me. You wasn't gonna do that to me.
No, I mean, you could do it to me, and I ain't
you wasn't gonna do that to me.
Probably in my mind, I was like, "Ooh, bitch."
Yeah, see, I didn't like stuff like that. Like
I'm not going to do it because it's like, don't treat me like you don't know me like that. You don't know me, and in my mind, one thing that men was never going to do. If I'm going to be a hoe, I'm going to be a hoe on my terms. You're not going to make me a hoe on your terms, and for me, that's making me a hoe on your terms. Right? You just basically saying, okay, you figured out my tea, because you ain't gonna do that to no straight man. You figured out my tea, and just because I'm gay, you think you can pull out your dick and I'm going to just do whatever.
Right, right.
No, it don't work like that. I'm not that type of gay. Even though, you know, on the inside, I probably was going, bitch.
Yeah.
Why did you do this
I've never been that type of brother.
Why didn't we have conversation and you asked me was I gay and, you know, what I like and, you know, you lead me to this point. You don't just whip it out and say, yeah, do something with it. Because now I was like.
Yeah, one brother told me, he said, all you got to do is, he said, all I want you to do is bend down and touch your toes. I was like, what? Because I would, you know, I've always been, and y'all, let me tell you something. I have always been prudish when it came to encounters with guys. You know, I've always been this type of brother because I was raised by a lot of older gay men, and they taught me how to be a gentleman. You know, they taught me how to be a gentleman, and they taught me how to talk to guys, and they taught me that you should always be respectful. And so that was always my thing. I demanded respect. I've always demanded respect. So when I became older, when I had encounters like that, if you encountered me like that, oh child, I was gonna cuss your ass out.
Let me ask you something. Listen, if you don't mind, I can actually transition into a question and a commentary because you recommended that I look at The Cussing Preacher. And when I looked at the cussing preacher, I so loved him for his realness and honesty. He know he's a freak. He liked the freak, and he knows he's a preacher, but he likes sex. Why is it that we feel so bad about liking what we like? You know you like to go through things, or you know you like to have someone put whipped cream on you and eat it off.
Well, that's because of society. That's because of society, and it's also because of our upbringing. Our upbringing teaches us that sex is not a it's not a public thing. You shouldn't be an exhibitionist. You as a woman, you should hold your hoo-ha. You should hold that sacred. That should be sacred. You shouldn't you just give yourself up on people. And so that's why a lot of people hide, or they either hide or they don't want to talk about or discuss or express, their sexuality, simply because of what society has placed on us. It's not the norm. If somebody says something anything sexual, it's like, oh, did you just say that? And so that's just how society is. And I think that has a lot to do with why, there's so much sexual assault in this country, because, sexuality is so taboo. It's a taboo. Sex is taboo, period. Even in today's society. I mean, we're in 2022, and people are still not comfortable with their sexuality. Yes, we're comfortable with the LGBTQ. We're comfortable with, the trans community and things like that. But sexuality is not a topic to be discussed, easily. It's not something that you just have a glass of wine and say, okay, so how big is your dick?
Well, see,
you know what I'm saying? So it's not, it's taboo. It's taboo. It's still taboo.
But how about this? I'm a preacher, right? I know I'm a preacher, and I like to smoke weed. Why hide what I do in private? So I tell it, and I have no problem telling it. So there are people who are nudists, but the word says, Job said, naked came out. And why be ashamed of the way that you came into this?
Right. But see, now, Whiskey, you got two people on your attack, and you have the church, and then you have society, and then number three, you got the court of public opinion. You know what I'm saying? And so, we talked about this. We talked about being mindful. You have to be mindful of, the things that you share, because when you share things, it's like a shock factor. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, did he just say that?
But guess what? Then the same people that act shocked in public behind closed doors say, you know what?
It's a whole totally different thing.
You're being so open helped me to be free.
Right. It's a whole totally different thing. And that's because of the way that society has structured things. Society, am I right, Joseph? Society has taught us that sexuality is taboo.
Is that right, Joseph?
And it's not up for discussion. It's not something, it's not. People are not comfortable talking about sex and sexuality in today's society yet. We've not arrived to that point yet.
Would the two of you go to a nude beach and feel comfortable?
I would.
Because guess what? It's not about sex.
I would. It's not, and you're right. It's not about sex.
Free in yourself and the nakedness. Because when I come into my house, I like to strip my clothes off.
Right. Me too. Now, I will tell you this.
Got on me the other day. One of my female friends, because I was sitting here and I had a wife beater on, and so I had a 420 wife beater moment. And she said, there are women that going to get offended by you having a wife beater on. I'm like, why? It's just a t-shirt.
Right.
And so she told me the other day, because I came on with no shirt on and my underwear on, you couldn't see my underwear, but I was just sitting here in my home chilling. And she said it can come off offensive
because it made that person uncomfortable. It made that person uncomfortable.
On other people that others were comfortable.
Yes, but let me just say this in social media. Let me just say this in social media. you will find that most people that critique you on you like not having a shirt, because I've been told not to come on with a white beater shirt on. I've been sent messages like emails and stuff. Tramel, you shouldn't do that. I remember last year, Joseph, when I wore the when I came on with no shirt, and it became such a big thing that I created some videos about. I was like, oh, y'all just bothered by me not wearing a shirt. But it's for the most part, people that critique you or they want to judge you because you're not wearing a shirt or you don't have or you have a white beater on, it's because of their comfortability, not yours. You're comfortable. You're comfortable. But it's because they're not comfortable with it.
But
and
when
in
you're on
most
social
cases,
media, you have to be mindful of every single thing you do.
You do.
Because you have to be mindful that ain't no roach crawling behind you on the wall.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful that a fly ain't flying past your screen.
Yeah.
Because somebody is going to notice something and bring it to your attention.
Yes, that's right.
There are people in our chat that didn't even know things happened and would text me and go, Joseph, what happened with such and such? Joseph, what happened with so? And I'm like, how the hell?
Remember we took Jomel and put him downstairs in the cage, and people were like, what are y'all doing to him? Why is he screaming like that? Because Jomel didn't like being in the cage.
We had to take him out of the cage. We had to take go downstairs and take him out of the cage because they had a fit because Jomel was in the cage.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about me and my viewers, because all it takes, you know how we say sit and like and share? Well, honey, all it takes is that one video, honey, and they will share it all over the globe. They might not share none of the rest of your videos, but they will share.
And they will turn it into something that is not.
They'll share a video going, ooh, look, Whiskey Blue want to be mayor, but look at him smoking a blunt. And that'll be all you need. And then it'll just go viral. And then the next thing you know, you on the Channel 5 News and be like, how does the mayor want to smoke weed and be on? And this is his social media, and this is what he was doing. And then by the time you try to rush to take it down, it done went viral because somebody done copied the whole video and they just sending it all over the globe.
No, I see things from a different perspective because here smoking is legal.
Right. It's
but
legal
all it
here in New Jersey.
One person that's mad at the fact that it's legal.
Right.
And then that's all it take. That's all it take. Like half the people on social media that got ridiculed for example, this ain't what I want to talk about tonight, but I'm just bringing it up. Lizzo and Beyonce got ridiculed for saying spaz. But now this white boy group, I can't remember their name, but it's a white boy band, and they said the word paralyzed in their song. So the black disabled people are trying to find out why y'all not making them take the word paralyzed out their song, but you made Lizzo and Beyonce take the word spaz out. And to black people, spaz don't mean what y'all white people say that it mean.
Right.
So all it takes is for one person not to like what you did and start sending it out, because if one don't like it, here come another, and here come another, and here come another. It ain't about you. It ain't about what's legal. It ain't about what should be. All it takes is for somebody not to like it. And once that happens, me and Tramel made them Andrew Corwell videos, and there was plenty of people that liked it. But then we got attacked by the ones
we got attacked like you would not believe.
We got attacked. We better take the videos down. We better not talk about Andrew no more.
We got death.
And I'm sitting there going, he really got fans like this?
Did y'all take it down?
No, why would I do that?
No.
Okay.
I fought back.
We got death threats and everything. But,
can we do a poll with the chat for the women? Are you offended when I sit up in my house with my wife beater on? Would you be offended if I do that? I just want to know if the women would be offended with me having my wife beater on tonight, because it's up under here. It just have a t-shirt over it, but sometimes I might take it off.
Right. If you would be, ladies in the comment section, if you find that you would be offended if either Joseph or me or Whiskey Blue were wearing a wife beater or we weren't wearing a shirt, if you find that you would be offended, just put a hand emoji in the comment section, because we really would like to know, because you know, and that's one of the things I do. Joseph will tell you, I will, before we go live, I'll be scrambling to find a shirt. Scrambling to find a shirt, like Joseph. Oh, I gotta find a shirt to put on, because I want to be presentable to everyone, you know. And if being presentable is me having a shirt on, I will accommodate my subscribers by putting on a shirt. You know, it's not a big deal for me, but for some people, to each his own. Like Whiskey Blue, if you choose, you say, well, listen, I'm gonna wear my white beater, or I'm gonna sit here without my shirt on. Okay, whatever, that's fine. But for me, if my subscribers said, Tramel, you need to keep a shirt on, I'm gonna make sure I have a shirt on every time I go live.
So doesn't that seem to be allowing people to control you?
No.
And why?
You are a social media figure. Because you a social media figure, and if people ain't gonna watch you because of what you're doing on camera, then your whole purpose is a waste.
But guess what? Here's what I find out. By being my true self, I have more followers than when I was fake. And this is something that Lauryn Hill said on her MTV Unplugged album. She said the real me is better than the fake me any day.
Right, but well, you know what? You may have more subscribers or more followers because you're being transparent like that, but it does not work for everyone.
But that's like saying I'd rather just have 5 people following me.
You know, it's to each his own. I don't think it's a control thing. I really don't think that it's a control.
But that's more like saying I'd rather have 5 followers than 5,000 followers, because I'm going to sit here and be at my wife beater. That don't make sense. That defeats the purpose of your whole social media platform.
Well, yeah, it does.
It defeats the purpose of your whole social media platform, because the whole purpose is for you to get people to follow you.
Right. I mean, there are some guys that can. There are some guys that can come on here without no shirt on, and the girls love it because they got a nice chest. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work for everyone. Every you know, it depends. You know, it really depends. It might be people out there that find Whiskey Blue not having no shirt on. They might find that the sexiest thing in the whole wide world.
Right.
You know,
I just hired a trainer. I'm gonna be paying him $350 a month to help me get down from 280. I was $350. I'm down to 280, and now I hired someone to help me get to 185. And let me tell y'all something. I'm not going to work that damn hard and not show my body to the people.
Listen, I hear you.
All you want.
I hear you. I'm an exhibitionist too, like that. Joseph will tell you I'm an exhibitionist like that too. Like when I wear my clothes, I like to wear form-fitting clothes. You know, Joseph be like, Tramel, them jeans is kind of light. And I'd be like, hey, bring me a Chiquita. But you know, that's just me, you know. Okay, so I mean, I get it, but I mean, you ain't gonna never see me like when we was at Pride. We was at Pride this year, Joseph, and the guy was walking around with the see-through pants on, and he had his penis was about this big. I mean, it was big, child. It was big. You know, you ain't gonna never see me walk around in no see-through or no lace shorts on where you can see my private parts. That's just not my style. But there's some people that can do that, and then there's some men that got the junk.
Guess what?
Where they can do that.
I just said let me see, right? But I wasn't saying let me see. Now I would say let me see when you showed me you were off the camera. I was saying get back in focus. But some people may have thought that I was saying I wanted to see it, and that's not what I meant. Sometimes I say things, but you understand what you understand, and I'm trying to use a word to help you see what I'm seeing, rather than to interpret what I said.
Right.
Well, now with that being said, we need to get back on topic.
Yeah, okay.
Way off topic.
It was good.
You went King. King Midas already went.
I already went too.
You already went too?
Custom preacher.
Huh?
I talked about the custom preacher. That was news.
Well, we need you need to elaborate on that, brother Minister Whiskey Blue.
Because he was being interviewed. He said, "I like to eat pussy." He said, I'm a freak. And what God made sex, so why can't other people do the same thing he do and keep it private? He does it and admits it. I respect him. I would rather have 5 people who love me for me than to have 5,000 that I have to play. That is even why I run up my platform the way I do.
But
I would rather be me and not win the election.
So what you're talking about is transparency. Are we talking about being transparent?
Yes.
But that don't have nothing to do with being transparent, because 9 times out of 10, if he's a straight man and he got a wife, I would hope he was eating her little snatch. So, but that's nothing he gotta say. Like, I think when people say and do certain things, it's just for shock value, because people don't need to know that. Especially if you're just having a conversation of what's your favorite dinner? Pussy. I like eating pussy. It's the shock value behind it. And it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. If somebody asks you, that question, then yes, you can answer it honestly. I'm not gonna sit here and say lie. But when you just bring it up just to bring it up for no reason, it's like you just doing it for the shock value. And now, okay, you shock people, but now that you shocked them, are you ready for the backlash you're gonna get from? Because they're gonna. Well, you're a minister. You're not supposed to say that. You're a minister. You're not supposed to do that. Even though in their mind they know you do it. You got a wife, like, but they don't want to hear that you do it.
Watch this. I've been down, and this is off topic, but I was driving down south this week, and while it was happening, I had to go to the bathroom. I had to do number 3. And while I'm driving, I couldn't make it. Number 3 is when you have to do number 1 and 2. That's number 3. And so I'm driving, but couldn't make it to the bathroom. And I'm trying to hold it. And all of a sudden, my body just released so much that I pulled over, went in my trunk, got completely nude, used the soiled clothes to wipe myself, threw them in my trunk, and put on clean clothes. And I'll tell people that, you know why? Because there are a whole lot of people who are driving and end up peeing on themselves or not being able to hold it.
But see, you just proved my point, Kenton. You just proved my point. That had nothing to do with what we was talking about. You just said it for shock value. For people in the chat to be shocked. Now, if they all sit there and say something negative, then you might get offended. They might be offended. But that's what I'm saying. People that do that, they doing it for shock value, because there's no reason that anybody needed to know that. But that's what I'm talking about when people say certain things.
Right. Well, when
it just come out of the blue, it's like,
but that's
we wasn't even talking about that.
Right. Well, if you watch your episode,
true is this, because I brought it up to show you that I brought up something that may have been off topic, but my intent was not to create shock. My intent was to identify with someone that had experienced the same thing. And guess what? Someone will hit me up off the air and not here and say, you know what, man, I had that problem too. Guess what? But what they say, because I'm on HIV medication too, and it gives me the runs.
Right. Listen,
but see,
I get what you're saying.
But see, that's my point. You didn't even put that part in. See, you didn't even say I'm on HIV medicine and sometimes it makes me go to the bathroom and this is what happened to me. So you missed the whole main point of the story. All you did was say I shit and pissed on myself, got out of the car. That was not necessary.
Right.
But if you would have said, if anybody's on HIV medicine, y'all can identify with this, that's something totally different. It's not
right.
It's not a shock value when you do that. And you're right. People will say, oh, yeah, I'm on HIV medicine. Dude, don't feel bad. It happened to me too. And da-da-da-da-da. But when you miss that whole important piece of it and you just tell that story, then it becomes a shock value because nobody's going to hit you up and say, I'm on HIV medicine, because guess what you didn't say? You didn't say that. You just went into the story. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you put the purpose behind the story, then it ain't shock value. You telling the story that has a purpose. But when you just say the story, it's shock value, because like everybody's sitting there going, why would he tell us he shit on himself?
Better is that if I tell my intent before I tell the story.
Right, like tell the reason why it happened and then tell the story, because now it makes sense. But when you just tell a story, it's like everybody's sitting there going, why he just tell us he shit on himself?
Gotcha.
Right.
But if you say I'm on HIV medicine, and sometimes it becomes hard to hold my releases and stuff like this. And let me tell y'all what happened to me. I was driving down the highway and there was nowhere to pull over and yada, yada, yada.
I mean, it's happened to all of us. It may or may not have happened to a lot of people or all of us, you know. But I mean, to be honest, you can't. Whiskey Blue, if you watch the episode of T.S. Madison, she had the cussing pastor on her show, and that was one of the first questions that she asked him: does he like to eat? You know, she was asking him all these sexual questions, and he was answering. I mean, so you know.
But see, then you can't get mad because she's posing questions that he needs that he answers.
And listen, listen, people don't understand transparency. A lot of people don't understand about being transparent. There's all different levels of being transparent. You know, there's levels of you can be transparent if somebody asks you a question, you giving them an honest answer instead of saying, I don't want to answer that question, or, you know, you shying away from it. You know, there's so many different levels of being transparent and sharing information. And then there's also TMI, too much information.
Right.
You know, so transparency is more than just you saying, well, my name is Tramel McRae and I like this and I like that and I like this and I like that and I like this and I like that. You know, it's more than just that. You know, it varies.
You gotta make it make sense.
It depends on, you know, the scenario. It depends on the situation. It depends on the environment that you are in. I mean, I'm not going to sit in a group of women that are, you know, missionaries and be talking about sex. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to feel comfortable doing it. But however, there are some people that don't mind that. They don't have a problem with, you know, sitting in a room full of missionaries and having that conversation. But anyway, are we moving on?
Right, Melissa. Okay, we can move on to me. I'm last since I was, you know, I guess hosting tonight.
Yes, yes.
So my thing is about this pastor in Kansas City that got up. His name is Carlton Funderburk. He got up in his congregation and told them they were a bunch of poor bitches. He told them that they were poor bitches, and he couldn't afford their Gucci, he couldn't afford their Louis, he couldn't afford this, he couldn't afford that, because he asked them for a Movado for Christmas, and they didn't buy him a Movado watch as a church for Christmas. So he told them there was a bunch of poor, broke bitches in his church, and he needed to find new members.
Did he use those exact words?
Yes. After he stood up in the pulpit and said this.
Shock value.
Everybody in my church is broke and poor. And y'all can't even afford to buy me a Movado watch. I've been asking since Christmas, and it's already now August, and I ain't got shit. So he then, because he went viral all over the internet, and everybody was reading him for filth, saying they ain't never saw in the Bible where it said you had to bless the minister with a Movado watch.
It's not there.
He decided to apologize and say that there was more context to it than what we saw. And there was more context to it to why he told his church they were poor and they wasn't helping him out. And he apologized to the church silently. but he's apologizing on social media since his video went went viral, and everybody had something to say. Now, my thing is this. When he got up in that pulpit and said what he said, he meant everything that he said. He meant every word he said because they did not give him a Movado watch.
Mm-hmm.
And all he wanted was a Movado. Now, somebody could have went to the Bahamas and got him a Movado, a real Movado for $550, like when I brought my Movado when I went to the Bahamas. Because over there is no, oh God, I forget what they call it, but it's not as expensive over there as it is here. I brought myself a Movado and I brought my mother a Movado when I was in the Bahamas because they were dirt cheap. My Movado watch was $550 and my mother's Movado was like $350. So I made sure I brought me one and I brought her one when I went over there, and I brought it back here and I brought her a watch. So my thing is, do you accept his apology? Because in reality, he said what he meant. And he meant what he said. Y'all some broke bitches. And I need to get some new members that can afford to buy me a Movado watch. He meant that. That came from his spirit and his soul. Because that's what he meant, because his parishioners did not buy him a Movado watch for Christmas.
Poor thing.
Well, I'm going to take a page from the book of Creflo Dollar. And Creflo Dollar, a lot of people don't know that, excuse me, he wasn't always a minister. He was never called to the ministry. And of course, Whiskey Blue, when you're a minister, usually you're called to the ministry. You receive a calling from God to minister. And he said the reason why he got into the business of ministering was because he liked money. And that's where his name came from. That Creflo Dollar is not his real name.
No, it's Creative Flow of Dollars.
Right. He got into the business of ministering because of the money. He said he loves money. He has a private plane. He preaches a regular sermon in Madison Square Garden every week. He flies from his home in Georgia to Madison Square Garden every week to preach a big sermon. And money is the defining factor of his ministry, so much so that if you go to his church, he has ATMs in his he has more than one. He has ATMs in his churches. He also, at one point in time, he said that he was joking about this, but he also made a joke about he wanted to create a church where when you walked in the church, you had to pay a fee and you had to walk through a turnstile in order to get into the church.
In order to join his church, you have to give them your
financial. You
have to give them your pay stub so they can make sure you're giving them the right tithes. But then he changed his whole mind about tithes.
Well, believe it or not, there are a lot of churches do that. A lot of churches that you join will ask you for your financial information so that they can make sure that when you tithe, you're tithing your percentage, your correct percentage. Because what does it say? What is the percent you're supposed to tithe, 10%, minister?
10%.
10%. So they want to make sure that every month when they do their paperwork, that 10% is coming from you as a member. They want to see how much you make, and they want to make sure that they get their 10% of whatever you make, whatever you bring in, because that is the general rule. And with most black churches is that you tithe and you tithe 10%. I think a lot of people are under the assumption that black churches have gone too far, or churches period have gone too far when it comes to financial information, responsibilities. We as congregates, this is something that has been done for years. It's been done for years. You know that, minister. Joseph,
No, I just think that because of social media. No, but I think because of social media, a lot of these people are getting caught. Like Juanita Bynum, she just preached this whole sermon about how you can't listen to secular music and be saved, but then they got her dancing to Mary J. Blige just fine.
Right.
So it's like nobody would have caught that if it wasn't on social media. And I think now these preachers have to realize social media is fucking them up because they're saying a lot of shit that they're getting held accountable for that they could say back in the day because nobody had camera phones to catch their ass.
Right, right.
But now people are recording church sermons and posting them. And a lot of people, they sitting there, so they don't even think nothing wrong with what's being said. But then once it hit the internet, it goes viral because everybody else is like, I know this motherfucker didn't just say this.
Right, right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna quote something that T.S. Madison says. She said the black church is going to be the downfall of the black community. And I will also say this is that, and we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago when we did the Kingz Council, that the attendance of the black church is decreasing in numbers, phenomenal numbers. People are at a point now where they're saying, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to deal with this anymore. Church is supposed to be about salvation. It's supposed to be about bringing a positive message. And that's it. And you as a parishioner, you don't have a responsibility to the church. And anybody out there that goes to church and feels as though they have a responsibility to the church, you are sadly misguided. You don't have a responsibility to the church. You have a heart. If you have a heart, if you find it in your heart that you want to give financially to a church, then by all means do that. But as far as you having a responsibility
or obligation,
you don't have a responsibility or obligation to give to any church that you either belong to, visit, or what have you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because I've just planted a new ministry, right? And all of my life, I have preached to pay the tithe and bring it into the storehouse. And if you didn't, you were cursed with a curse. And now I do something different because God ministered to me myself and said, you were not preaching that right. When he said, because I never even created the church to be a building. The church is spiritual. It's not a building. And so when that scripture says, bring ye all the tithe into the storehouse, bring all into your house. Save 10%. I teach my people not necessarily not to tithe to the church, but to do free will giving, but tithe. Save 10% a month. Put 10% a month in an annuity and have a death and a life benefit. And over time, you can become your own bank. And because I teach them and empower them to have wealth, I never have to ask for nothing. They say, because only poor people, and I'm not being offensive when I say this, poor people are the only ones that when you talk about money, they have a problem. Rich people, they going to give what they want. They don't care what you say. They ain't going to give no more than they want to give.
No, what you said is backwards. Because, see, rich people ain't giving you shit.
Right.
The poor people are the ones that's going to be sitting there giving you their light bill, their water bill, their gas bill, and their food bill, because the Lord said, give it. See, rich people ain't stupid like poor people.
Exactly.
See, poor people sit there and hold on to every word the minister say, and God gonna bless me and give you my water bill. God gonna bless me and give you my electric bill. See, the rich people gonna sit there and say, okay, that's nice, you say give. Bitch, I ain't giving you but $20.
Yeah, but you know, but when they give, listen, and I'm going to tell y'all this story, and I guess we're going to be able to move on from this. I had a friend that was a minister right here in Jersey City. He's passed away since. God rest his soul. But he was a minister, and he was a good one. I mean, he could preach. When I tell y'all, he can go to a church and he can have people running through the aisles, ladies taking their wigs off and running out the door, and the whole nine child. He could preach. He was a good preacher. Y'all know what I mean. And whenever I would hang out with him, he'd be like, well, you know, Tramel, I gotta go. Let me go get this money from this church. And it was always in a community that was
Poor.
It was always in, and he used to tell me, I said, where, I asked him one day, I was like, when do you get the most money? He said, to believe it or not, Tramel, I get the most money when I go into communities that are poor, when I go to these small little churches that have these storefronts, when I go to these little churches that ain't got no building, I get the most money. He knew where the money was.
Right. The only reason why mega churches are making money is because, hell, you got 10,000 people sitting there. If all of them
and
gave
they
you
ask
a
you for
damn
your
dollar,
financial information.
if all of them gave you $1, what you got to worry about?
Yeah, and you got to give them your financial information.
I have been in church
you got to pay
where they
a
locked
fee.
your ass in and talked
In
about
mega churches,
somebody coming up with $200 tonight. We ain't leaving out of here until we get an extra $200 or extra $300. So believe me, I done sat in church.
Listen, I done went to a church.
Your ass in.
I done been to churches where, I got up and I said, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom," and the usher said, "Excuse me, where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to the bathroom." "Oh, you got to wait. It's offering time. It's almost offering time. You got to go back and sit down. You got to hold it."
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this I really think that the church has gone too far. I mean, I'm like, the Catholic Church does not do this. The Catholic Church doesn't do this. The Catholic Church does not have an offering or anything like that. They have a box. Normally, when you go to a Catholic church, they have a box. You can go and you can put your donations in, or you can call the church and you can donate or what have you. And the Catholic Church is abundantly rich.
But for me, Tramel, it was the audacity that you had the nerve to sit there and say, y'all are some broke people in my church because y'all ain't about me a bottle watch. The audacity of that is just that's like me asking you for something for Christmas and you don't get it for me, and I'm like, you broke? Why you couldn't buy me this? It wasn't that expensive. You could have brought me this. Like, you don't like
I think as a minister you have to be humble, and you have to be humble, like our pastor Joseph. I remember one year we were going to throw him this big grand extravagant banquet. He was like, "I don't want a banquet." He was like, "I just want to get together with my brothers and just have a good time," and that was it. We were going to throw him a banquet for his birthday, remember?
And that's not quite how it happened.
We ended up throwing him a barbecue, but he didn't want it.
That's not quite how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I know how it happened. They got mad at me because I was in charge of the men's group with another person.
Right.
And they were mad because I was trying to do something extravagant for the pastor.
Right.
That's where I come from. I come from a Pentecostal church where if you giving the pastor a dinner, you're giving the pastor a dinner, honey.
Right.
It ain't no everybody come to my house and sit down and I'm cooking for y'all dinner.
Right.
It's a dinner because it was his birthday.
Right.
Where people should have paid per plate to come and enjoy the pastor for his birthday.
Right.
And give him what he wanted because he told me what he wanted. They, in turn, because they cheap and tired, they didn't want to do that because they wanted to wait because his 50th anniversary was coming up the following year.
Right.
So because they fought me on this, it became that little bullshit barbecue we had. And after the little bullshit barbecue, guess what happened? COVID. So they couldn't even have what they wanted to have for the 50th celebration.
Right, but
if they would have allowed me to have what I wanted to have, it would have been all in one. Basically.
Right, but what I'm saying is, my point is this. My point is as a minister.
Oh, the pastor didn't care what we did.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying.
He was happy whether we
could have took him to Carvel and got him an ice cream cake, and
or whether we did that little bullshit barbecue that happened.
Right.
So he didn't care one way or another.
Right.
In all honesty, it was me as a person. And growing up in a church, knowing what my pastor should have as a pastor, just because he's a pastor. Now, he didn't care one way or another. He was happy. He was happy all around. So it was never him. It was me. I felt some kind of way.
Right. But what I'm saying is, my point is that as a minister, you have a responsibility. You have a moral responsibility to be humble. And you know, my point is that our pastor, when we decided to throw him this big extravagant banquet, he was like, y'all don't have to do that for me. You know, we could have took him to Carvel ice cream and got him an ice cream cake and sat there and took our hands and put it in the cake and ate it. You know, he wouldn't have cared. And that's because our pastor is he's a humble man of the cloth. You know, you have to be humble. You have to be humble. You as a pastor telling your congregation that it is wrong for them not to give to you, or it is wrong for them not to buy you a Cadillac, or it's wrong for you not to give to give you money to buy you a whole new wardrobe. It's wrong. It's going to look morally wrong. It's going to always appear morally wrong.
Right. Well, y'all, that is the Kingz Council for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Please follow all of us on all social media platforms. We are on all social media platforms. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, here on YouTube, Facebook. Just follow us. Why wouldn't you want to follow us?
Right. And vote for Whiskey Blue for mayor.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
You know what? They know what's going on in our lives. I have been working on my campaign, and while we're here online, I literally get something that pops up that says, take control of your political campaign. Don't waste your time and money. Download our free campaign planning toolkit to start winning. Isn't that something?
Yeah. It's not really, because you know
the algorithm of the word.
Right. Yes, most definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. And don't subscribe to that, because I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's a mess, Whiskey Blue.
Okay.
Yes, don't subscribe to that. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. We hope that you have enjoyed and are enjoying the Kingz Council. This is a new venture for us, and we have been getting a lot of positive feedback. Thank you all for your comments, your emails, and all of the positive messages that we have been getting about the Kingz Council. You know, people love Joseph, they love me, they love Whiskey Blue, and we hope to bring you more in the future. And we will be here every Sunday evening at 8:15 p.m. So tune in. And next time you come in, tune in with a friend. Don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe button, and don't forget to comment on this video. And to the people that are watching the replay, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. And we love you. So with that being said, guys, we're going to get on out of here. You guys make sure that you walk in love, peace, sunshine, happiness, and always remember that it's Team McCrae all damn day. Talk to you guys soon.
Later, y'all.
Bye-bye.